In the previous videos, you saw ways of helping students identify and understand their emotions. In this video, you will learn a technique John Irwin calls a tune-up, which is a way for students to control their emotions when they're feeling distressed, frustrated, or angry. First, we will watch as John teaches this technique to secondary students. Then we will watch as the same technique is introduced to first, second, and third graders. Now let's join John Irwin and the students from New York's Lockport High School.
So what we're going to do now are two things, that, going back to the behavioral card, two things that you can do. One, in the heat of the moment, to make the emotions, to kind of manage, regulate those emotions. And then things that we can do sometimes when, that I call a trade. The first one is a tune-up, kind of give yourself a quick tune-up in the heat of the moment. And the other activity is called a trade-in, when a behavior you're using in your life just is not working and you need to take that car and trade it in on a better car. So the first one is the tune-up. So we talked about all this stuff. Okay, we did the breathing. Okay, now when you ever had a problem with your computer and you had to call the service center? Or your dad does it, or you just throw it out. Throw it out. You call the 800 number, you know. Well, what do you call, and you usually end up getting India or someplace. And anyway, we outsource all of those, a lot of the technical service helpers. So we end up talking to somebody, and the first thing they always tell you to do, almost always, is turn off the computer, wait 10 seconds, and turn it back on. And a lot of times, 90% of the time, that fixes the problem. It reboots. I did that with my microwave. My microwave yesterday was, it had the time on it, and it was 11:40. And it was 11:40 all day. It's like it never, so I kept trying to program the time, and it would just say whatever time I plugged it in. It wouldn't keep going, wouldn't move ahead. And you put a coffee, and I put 30 seconds on it, and I hit start. I just wanted to warm up my coffee, and I walked away. 5 minutes later, it's still going, and my coffee's boiling all over the inside of the microwave. So that was great. By the way, if you ever superheat liquid, if you accidentally let it go for longer than it should, don't touch it. It could explode in your face because it may not even look like it's boiling, but you touch it and it goes. So don't do that. Anyway, that's a word of wisdom for the day. What did you learn today? I learned not to touch the water when it's superheated. But anyway, so all I did was I took the microwave out of the little place in the kitchen where it is. I unplugged it, waited 10 seconds, plugged it back in, and everything was working fine. So anyway, that's quite often what happens, and that's what we can do with ourselves when our scales are whacked out, and we're feeling butterflies, or we're feeling left out, or down, or helpless, or it's even better over here if we're feeling worried or freaked out, or over here especially if we're feeling irked or confused or frustrated or feeling like a sociopath. I don't know what sociopaths feel like. That's good. But when we're feeling those negative emotions, there are things that we can do that are like stepping on the gas and making it worse. You know, if I'm irritated, there are certain things I can think and do that will make me enraged. There are also things I can think and do that'll keep me from, move me from frustrated to maybe just irritated. Okay, and which way am I going to be in more effective control? Irritated. The lower on the continuum you go, the more effective control you can gain. So it's a three-step process to take these emotions and kind of regulate them. Quell them down a little bit so that they don't overtake us and let us and create the conditions under which we're going to drive from the back seat. Because when you drive your car from the back seat, where do you end up? In the ditch, or running into a tree, or getting arrested, or dead. Okay, so this is a real simple thing, but there are thoughts, and it's usually right here focusing on the thoughts first is the best thing to do. There are thoughts that we can use, that we do on a daily basis, that everybody uses, that make things worse. And there are thoughts that can make things better. And we're really going to focus on anger here, because that's the one that often gets us in the biggest, the hottest hot water. Okay, so when you're feeling your scales are out of balance, when you feel that urge to throttle, or the urge to throw that rake against a tree, or to take your golf club, and see if you can make it to the 18th hole and you're on the first, or the urge to scream at your teacher, or throttle your little brother, or any of those things, or yell at the wife or the husband. There are some things that we can do to just catch our signals. Now, we talked about some of the feelings that we had when we're feeling angry. I feel like pressure, literally pressure in my chest. It's like, I feel hot. I feel tension in my jaw. I can really feel it in my jaw. Sometimes when I'm driving, I can just I almost break in the steering wheel. So there's physical things. When you can, this is the hardest part. It's turning off the computer. It's turning off the engine. Turn off that engine. That's the hardest part. If you can catch yourself here, you're in good shape. It's like stop and think. Simple, but stopping is the hardest part. So you got to kind of recognize those feelings that you have when you're angry, and stop it right there so you don't make things worse. So you can say some things to yourself. My favorite thing is just cool it. I'll just say to myself, cool it, because I'm from the 60s and 70s. That may not be groovy enough for you, so you might say to yourself, chill, take a chill pill. You could simply say time out to yourself, or just stop, or whoa, whoa, or be cool. Anything that you can do to interrupt the behavior, the feeling. So whatever that is for you. Now, what would happen if somebody else told you the words that you just said to yourself? You just want to make sure. Yeah, somebody says to me, chill out, when I need to chill out, that doesn't help. Or when you're really depressed, somebody says, cheer up. I'll cheer up. Right after I throttle you. That'll help me out. So remember that. If somebody is frustrated, you don't go up to them and say, oh, chill out now. You could say, how are you feeling? But saying to them, chill out, but it's a good thing to say to ourselves. Okay, so step one is to turn off the ignition. Whoops. Okay, so that's the hardest part. Because, like I was saying earlier, I think, or one of the other trainings, when you're frustrated or any of the strong emotions, it literally feels like pressure inside of you. And all you really want is to release that pressure, tension and release. We're looking for that release. And sometimes the release can take the form of yelling at somebody, hitting somebody, breaking something, throwing a rake against a tree, throwing your golf clubs, taking your drums and throwing them into the woods. So there can be lots of, and those are the things that are not, in the long run, you're going to say, oh, geez, I really wish I hadn't done that. So, but it's just in the moment, you're trying to get that release of pressure. But instead of, and some people in the past, like psychologists, would teach people how to release that tension, and they thought that was going to help people. And there was a whole school of thought in I don't think it was the 60s and 70s, scream therapy, or you'd go into your psychiatrist's office and you would just scream, like primal scream therapy. So you'd go, doctor, I'm really feeling frustrated and angry today. He'd say, well, just scream, and he might give you a pillow to scream into, and you'd put the pillow up to your face and go, you know what they found? That doesn't really work. It just makes you madder. It makes you more angry.
You paid a guy to tell you to scream into a pillow.
Yeah, isn't that great? You could stay home and do it all by yourself, Let's have a group scream. Anyway, they found that actually expressing your feelings, especially anger, doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. So rather than express the feeling of anger, the best thing to do is transform the feeling of anger. And the way to do that is part two, relax. You turn off the ignition, take 3 deep breaths, part the clouds. Even 1 deep breath is good. It's nice if you have the time to take 3 deep breaths, and then scan your body like we did in the relaxation exercise. Scan your body for those hot spots. What are your hot spots? Where do you feel physical tension when you're mad? Again, turn to a partner and talk about I feel it in my jaw and in my shoulders. I'll notice my shoulders are up to here. Oh, am I am I relaxed right now? I don't think so. So, just kind of, oh yeah, that's much better. So where do you feel and different people feel it in different places. Where do you feel the physical tension when you're really angry? Talk to a partner about it.
It's not just like really angry. I just have to hold something. And then I get angry, so I'll throw it. Like the rake. I'll take the rake and I'll sit there and I'll hit the tree with it until the darn thing breaks.
I threw a comb one time and broke the bones.
My hands.
I was about to say, my hands probably, like I just start crunching them.
And they get mine get real hot and sweaty. And
My hands was like.
Okay, I won't ask you to share where you feel the tension. General places are, our face, our jaw, our stomach sometimes, our arms and neck and shoulders are big ones. So again, scanning your body very quickly, and you can just quickly take a deep breath. As you breathe out, relax your body parts that need to be relaxed, and then restart the engine. Okay. We have thoughts that will accelerate the problem, okay? That will make it worse. You can step on the gas and make that frustration turn into rage or, jealous, or turn a little bit of envy into, the green monster. That's to hurt other people. So we can do things and think things that'll make it worse, or we can do things and think things that'll calm us down a little bit. Always or never thinking. That's a real accelerator. If somebody, if I'm having an argument with my wife, which I have to try to imagine because that never happens. But if I were to ever have an argument with my wife and she interrupted me in the middle of my, trying to express something, I could think to myself, she never listens to me. So here I am irritated, or frustrated, I'll say frustrated. Here I am frustrated, and I'm thinking, she never listens to me. She's always interrupting me. She's always got to be right. She never takes my side of things. Okay, which way am I going to go? This way or this way? It's going to make it worse. Another one that makes things worse is labeling people. See, if you label people, and we do this during times of war, we try to make the other side, the enemy, they have to be inhuman because we're killing them. And if we kill humans, that feels bad. But if we kill Nazis, or in Vietnam we had a particular name for the enemy, Charlie or whatever, Charlie Kong. Yeah, Charlie Kong. So in times of war, we try to make the other side less than human so we can have the excuse of killing them and not feel so bad about it. Right. Okay. So that's another one. Labeling. It gives us and that just makes us angrier. It's easy to hate a complete or to utter, whatever the word is. Fairness thoughts. That gets us more angry too. That's not fair. It's not fair. And it probably, the situation is, it may not be fair. But guess what? You've been hearing it since you were a little kid. Life's not fair. It isn't fair. So focusing on the fairness in the moment just is going to make things worse. Okay, so we can try to take our foot off the gas pedal and step on the brakes and say things to ourselves instead of that complete, she always or never, he always or never. You can say, getting into a rage is not worth it. It's just not worth it. Or, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. Or, I'm mad, and I have a right to be angry, but I can stay in control.
We now move to the Lewiston Porter Primary Education Center in Youngstown, New York. Here you will see the tune-up technique being introduced to a group of first, second, and third graders.
When I feel angry, I know what to do. And when I feel angry, yesterday, we talked about the tune-up. And Mrs. Anello, Mrs. Sykoski, and I discovered, come on, Mrs. Sykoski. We decided we were going to call the tune-up our toolbox. Because, when you're driving your car, a lot of the time you need tools in the car in case you get a flat tire. And we're going to call it the toolbox. And then we're going to talk about how yesterday we did part the clouds. And today Mrs. Sykoski is going to help us
something new.
with 2 new tools.
2 new tools for
in the
that
Relax.
toolbox. Okay, raise your hand if you can think of the one that I said yesterday that we talked about and practiced. Megan, what did we practice yesterday? Parting the clouds. If you get upset, if you're sad, if you're angry, and just like the book said, you can do deep breaths, but we've got one that's even better. Because when you're angry or you're upset or you're sad, it feels like you've got what kind of a day? A cloudy day, right? So everybody knows that when you part the clouds, what are you going to do? You're going to cup your hands. You're going to cup your hands like this. And when you breathe in, you're going to raise them up. And you're going to imagine those dark clouds up there. Look at those dark clouds. And you're going to turn your hands and you're going to part the clouds. What's coming out? A sunny day. And we usually do it how many times? 3 times. And remember, when it happens to you, if you're upset or you're sad or you're angry, you don't have to do it really big so everybody's looking at you like, what's she doing? You can do it small. You can do it to yourself. But if you're all by yourself, just do it nice and big. You ready? 2 more times. Part those clouds. Let in the sunshine. And where's the anger go? Right out into the ground. And one last time. Part those clouds. Now here comes your second tool for your toolkit. Number 2, you ready? This is such an easy one, Mrs. Anello. I love this one, and I told Mrs. Oliverio I just used it. This is a little teeny tiny tool. You can use it anytime. I'm standing in line in the cafeteria, and somebody bumped me. Ooh, I can feel it. I can feel it. My body starts to get tense. I'm sweating. I'm getting a little sweaty.
Face is turning
I'm
red.
getting a little bit angry, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna bump her back. You know what? I got a quick one. Maybe she didn't mean to. Maybe she didn't see me. This is called erase it. This is a quick one.
Turn off the engine.
Turn off
Take
the
out the
engine.
keys.
Take out the keys.
Okay, number 2. Relax.
Number 2, she bumped me. It's called erase it. Just take your little eraser and go. Erase, erase. I feel better already.
Who remembers yesterday, what we did yesterday when we were sitting in a circle and there was something in the middle of us? Willow. 4 chairs. And what do the 4 chairs stand for, Ben? The 4 wheels of your car. Go ahead. Body, state, feeling, thinking, and doing. We're going to the teachers are going to model for you how to take out your toolbox and how to use one of those tools from the tune-up box in a situation that I bet all of you have been involved in. So, with quiet feet and quiet voices, on the count of 3, do your best, and don't knock anybody over, to get in that big circle that we had yesterday. 1, 2, 3. We don't need to move our mouse. Here's the situation. And then we're going to model how all 4 of our wheels think and do and feel before we do the tune-up. A friend just called me stupid. What's our feeling wheel?
I feel really, really angry, furious, mad. Oh, I feel really, really bad.
It's our body state.
I feel hot, and all my muscles feel tense, and I've got a pain in my neck.
I am thinking, how dare he call me stupid? I'm not stupid. I'm really smart. I am so mad right now. I am not stupid!
I want to yell a name back at him, or even hit him. Wait a minute. We better tune up.
I think we should take our keys out.
Take the keys out.
Take them out. Set them aside.
Set them aside.
So which one of our tools could we use right now?
Well, we
What
have,
could we use
we
in our
have-
box?
what do we have to use?
Eraser.
We have an eraser.
Could just erase them.
Good.
That's a good one.
Noah? Parting the clouds we have.
Let's part the clouds.
Since we all work together. Well, I feel a little bit calmer and a little more in control.
I'm cooling down and my muscles are starting to relax. That oxygen really helped.
I'm thinking maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe he didn't really mean to say that. I'm thinking he didn't really mean it.
Since I don't think he meant it, I'm going to choose to go up to him and tell him that I feel upset and angry by what he said, and that I'm not stupid, I'm smart. Ready? Okay, let's turn back on our car. We're ready to get back on. Done. Much better.
I think that worked out well. I feel great. I don't think he's gonna call us stupid anymore.
I don't think so.
I feel way better.
I feel way better.
I think that I'm proud of the choice that I made because I know I'm not going to get in trouble, I'm not going to hurt someone else, and it's a responsible behavioral choice.
The subject of the next video is perceptions and how they influence our behavior. At the elementary level, you will see the perceptions traffic light activity demonstrated in a first grade classroom. Then we will join John and the high school students for a discussion of perceptions and stereotypes.